All right, good morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here. My name is Brittany Cartwright. I'm with the Palm Beach North Chamber of Commerce, your host for today for our webinar this morning. Our webinar's topic is Working Smarter and Saving Money, an interactive tour of Microsoft Teams. And it is presented by IT Solutions. So we are very thankful for their generous support as well as their participation today in providing some solutions to working smarter. So a couple housekeeping items. We are actually going to put everyone on mute on Zoom just so that the background noise is not distracting to our presenters today. There is going to be time for Q&A throughout the session, so if anyone does have any questions that pop into their brain, feel free to put it in the chat. If you are in Zoom, we are actually going to go on Facebook as well, and from there, anyone in the comment section can actually ask a question. Anyone that's on the Zoom call today, if you would like to ask a question and you would actually like to verbally ask the question, you can just raise your hand. We'll have some team members here within the chamber that will be able to recognize that you're asking a question. We'll alert the hosts and let them know that you're asking a question. Now on to our speakers of the day. We have two presenters this morning. Mike Gavigan, who is the Vice President of Management Solutions for IT Solutions of South Florida. And he has built a 25-year track record delivering business-friendly technology. He has spoken on how to keep companies resilient and secure at more than 85 events across the nation. Mike's focus has always been on how small and mid-sized organizations can leverage technology to be more efficient and gain competitive advantages. His motto is, if a technology doesn't make business sense, you shouldn't spend a nickel on it. Our next presenter of the day is Wes Boggs. He is Vice President of Technology and has a gift for explaining complex technology in a user-friendly way. We all know how appreciative we are of that. Wes leverages his Bachelor of Science in Psychology and 29 years of industry-related experience to manage the day-to-day operations of the company. He achieves this all while providing excellent customer service and maintaining a fantastic workplace. He has obtained various certifications, including Microsoft Certified Solution Expert, Cisco Certified Design Professional, as well as numerous vendor-specific certifications. Without further ado, take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you, Brittany. Good morning, everybody. Still morning. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to be as efficient and as non-geeky as we can, which I think is important. Let me share my screen, and we'll jump right in. You guys seen it? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. Good. So we are IT Solutions of South Florida. We're a network management company. It's what we do. It's all we do. Hang on a minute. I jumped way ahead, and I will fix that. See, this is live. This isn't on tape. All right, it's all we do. You know the feeling you have when you know the IT person runs in or somebody runs in and says, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's like, God, you know, there's more money about to be spent here. There's frustration because there's some new IT problem messing with your business. Our clients really don't remember those days. They don't. We've been doing this for a long time. Our engineers, and they're all our employees. We don't farm out our help desk to some overseas boiler room. Our engineers, they don't speak geek. In fact, we pride ourselves on how good we are at avoiding technical jargon. Our technical skills are as good as anybody's and better than most, but we don't feel the need to show it off, to speak condescendingly or to speak down to people just because they don't know how to configure and stand up a Dell EMC PowerEdge R7525 or something like that. Our focus has always been to take care of our clients in three important areas. Productivity, that's what Teams is all about, and so that's what we're going to be all about today. But in addition to that, we look after resiliency. You don't want to be brought down by a hurricane or a power surge or a broken sprinkler head in the server room or a malware attack. So we back up our client environments every hour. We test to make sure we can restore those backups every night, every client, every night. And of course, security. Better than recovering from a malware attack is to avoid it in the first place. We combine leading edge technology with fun and persistent employee training to make your organization safer. Commercial's almost over. Just want to walk through, a little bit more about us, our clients. Feeding South Florida is the 4th largest food bank in the United States. You know our friends at Sunfest. You know our friends at Roger Dean Stadium. They're both clients of ours. We support the U.S. Polo, both in the association that runs the meets up in Wellington, as well as their licensing organization, which sells their products, their shirts all over the world. And Porsche, whenever Porsche is racing in the U.S., we send out a couple of semi-trucks with 30 or so servers, and we support all the telemetry that comes from the cars, and all the communication between the pit and Germany. So that's who we are. Let's talk about how Teams helps you work smarter and save some money. Why Teams? Real simple answer is because Teams freaking works. I think it's the single best thing Microsoft has done since getting us out of DOS and into Windows. If you've seen their television commercials or their internet commercials, they get it exactly right. Collaboration is the key to this. Our company is collaborating better than ever, despite the pandemic, and our clients are telling us the same thing. And people are starting to take notice. The increase in Teams usage has been astronomical. At its current usage rate, you can sort of surmise that there are probably roughly 3 million people on a Teams meeting right now. And the question has to be asked, why? Why has Teams experienced such growth? Yeah, that probably has something to do with it. But to be honest with you, I would argue that while coronavirus has certainly accelerated the rate of Teams adoption, it was inevitable anyway. Let's walk through some of the findings. These are the findings of a survey that took place, the largest survey to date, on the use of Teams among mobile employees. It took place in November and December of last year. So this is before the novel coronavirus outbreak. This 94% figure, these are senior executives, corporate executives, not IT executives. Okay, this is a geek-free sample. We know business travel's way down. It was trending downward before the outbreak. There was a 30% reduction of travel costs pre-COVID. And if you can imagine a post-distancing world, Teams is going to make it easier for you to determine exactly when a business meeting requires getting on a plane. I like this one. Teams saves you money because it respects your time and the time of the other people in your organization. Think about the meetings that you call in your conference room at work. I think about my own experience. I might sit there for an hour or even 90 minutes if it goes that long, and perhaps only 20 minutes of the content is relevant to me. Teams empowers you to be surgical about bringing people in and out of the meetings and releasing them to get back to their regular work. Project managers report they can get their jobs in on time and under budget more efficiently through the use of these technologies. And HR managers had a lot to say about companies saving money on the cost of employee churn. Okay, so if churn is down, I guess the question again has to be asked, why? Why do employees like the mobility that comes from the widespread use of Teams? So two organizations studied this last year. They were not related to Microsoft at all. They just wanted to find out what people are reporting about being able to use this technology platform from home, okay? And they're reporting a better work-life balance. They're reporting better stress levels, improved morale. They feel more trusted by their employees. And as we mentioned earlier, collaboration is better than before. So far, most of the savings we've talked about in terms of Teams use have been soft cost savings on labor. But there are straight line savings as well. You recognize some of these technologies. Slack is a fine direct message platform. Teams works better. Teams sits right inside of your Microsoft Office environment, enables you to pull anything you need, any document, any spreadsheet, any PowerPoint, any even videos, right into the conversation. and you're already paying for it. WebEx are, I've been in the industry a long time, and I have a long-standing love-hate relationship with Cisco. But their video conferencing solution is terrific. Teams is better. I don't have to deal with the lag and the out-of-sync audio that I often used to get inside of WebEx meetings. GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, they're fine. I've used both of them many times. Teams is better. Teams includes live events, which enables you to include tens of thousands of attendees and set that meeting up and manage it as successfully and as easily as you set up the meeting that includes 4 people that we mentioned earlier. Skype for Business. Microsoft has been weaning their users from Skype for 1.5 years now. They've already announced an end of life dates for Skype. We still come across it once in a while. Maybe it's time to make that upgrade. And these guys have experienced startling growth in the age of Corona, just as Teams have, and they've handled it very well. We're using Zoom today. I don't want to slam Zoom. It would be really nice if they didn't have all those data breaches that have been going on since Zoom became kind of ubiquitous. They're all good. Teams is better, and Teams is included in your Office 365 or your Microsoft 365 subscription. All the features you see today, and probably 100 more, you've already purchased them. So let's start using some of them. The best way to think of Teams is to think in terms of channels, the conversations you have with your teammates. And your teammates can include your boss. They can include the people who report to you. They could be staff from different departments who've been assigned to a common project. You can set up a channel for the members of the company's softball team. We have in our organization, we have channels devoted to specific clients, specific software tools that we use to manage those clients, to departments like sales and marketing and finance and accounting and tech support. We have a management channel, so various bosses can talk about higher level stuff. We have a general channel for all staff announcements that we want everyone to see. And we have water cooler channels, random observations, TV show reactions, Florida man stories. We've got all of that. So we're going to walk you through how channels work. Wes is going to walk you through how channels work and how to set them up. I'm going to stop my share and allow him to start sharing his screen.
Absolutely. So give me just a second here. And just let me know when everyone can see my screen.
Yep, we see it.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to minimize the little video guy and kind of get him out of the way. So we're logged into a Microsoft Teams demo environment here. And we are in the Teams tab, or the Teams icon in the menu bar over here on the left. So the best way to think of a team is a group of people that have a reason to communicate. That reason might be that they're an employee for your company. That reason might be because they're working on a project together, which is like this Mark 8 project team. I scroll down over here. It might be because they're in the sales department on the East Coast of the United States. We might put them into this team in this channel. So I've got the teams, which are the groups that I bring together. Mike made the example of the softball team. I could have a grouping of people that were on that softball team that might have reasons to discuss and collaborate things. So once I have everything broken into the teams, which are these higher level guys that have my arrows over here that I can open and close and expand. Within the team itself, I have the ability to have a channel. So a channel further focuses the conversation. So I'm going to kind of focus in on our Mark 8 project team here. So there's the general channel that's created by default anytime you make a team, just for general back and forth conversations that are not related to a further or a more specific topic that's been created. Under our Mark 8 project team, we've got a channel specifically for design conversations, right? So we might have some usability testing, some documents, a video to look at, some GIFs. Something real cool I'm going to show you since we're here. We've got Lee, who happens to be one of our team members who is Chinese. If we click here on the 3 little ellipses, Teams has the ability to natively translate chat messages into your local language. So that can be useful for you if you deal with team members who may be overseas or speak a different language than you. We've got a digital assets web area where we've got more things that are related to that piece of the puzzle. We have a go-to-market plan, right? And inside the team across the top, we have the ability to do some expansions, right? So I've got an area where we've got files that have been shared with these team members. So if I click there, these are the files related to our go-to-market plan. We might have a product roadmap where I've got some spreadsheets and some things going on here that I've shared out. We might have a brochure that we're working on, right? So inside of Teams, I have this ability to, in the channel area, extend it with other pieces and parts of the Microsoft 365 solution. So this is Microsoft Planner that's integrated with a plan related to our go-to-market release here that's been integrated into the channel. So Teams versus channels is the group that's been put together to communicate, and the channel keeps the conversation focused and makes it easier to navigate and collaborate on more specific topics. Now you'll notice there's a lot of teams here, so it can get a little bit unwieldy, and you might have certain areas that you need to go to all the time. So you have the ability to pin things to the top of your list. So if I'm responsible for this go-to-market plan, I can go to the channel, click my ellipsis, and pin it. It pins it up to our top up here. Maybe I manage the East Coast sales team here, so I want to see everything that's going on there, so I pin that to the top. And I want to make sure, I'm focusing in on this North Carolina retail sales area. I want to make sure I don't miss anything there, so I pin that to the top. So I have the ability to pin, and just like I pinned, I can unpin the channels that I deal with all the time to the top of my channel, or my channel list here. So the other thing that happens is if you're in a team and you're in a channel, by default, you'll get notified of all the activity that happens. So every time someone makes a post or responds to a chat inside a channel, the default inside of Teams is to notify you of that. And you'll get the little banner notification down in the bottom right-hand corner of your Teams app. You'll also get a notification if you're not logged into the desktop client and you have the Teams installed on your phone. You'll get a notification into the notification center of an iOS phone or an Android phone. It beeps you just like a text message does, and it appears in the notification section. You can click on that message and it'll dump you right into the Teams mobile app. As if you look here, this is a lot of channels. That's a lot of notifications. I might want to have the ability to turn some of those notifications off on channels that I don't deal with. Like I manage the East Coast of the sales. I don't need to be notified on the West Coast. So I can click on my little 3 ellipses. I can go to my channel notifications, and I can turn those notifications off. I don't deal with the SOC team at all. I might want to look at those things to turn those guys off, right? So you have the ability to manage and monitor what notifies you and what interrupts you when you're dealing with teams on a day-to-day basis. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Mr. Gavigan.
Thanks, Wes. So think for a moment about what it was like to watch TV or to look at some internet shows before the outbreak. People would come into the studio. The talking heads would show up in the studio, or the celebrities would show up to talk to Jimmy or Stephen or Conan, whoever it is you watch, whatever's your late night TV jam. They stopped doing that. They stopped showing up because of social distancing. And instead, they'd appear from their homes. So it was inevitable, I guess, that once people started showing up from their homes, that people start noticing what those homes look like. An organization, I guess it's just a guy, Room Rater, started popping up on social media, rating everybody's background. Okay, so this doctor here from Boston University, she gets a good score. She gets 10 out of 10. They like the art, they like the pillows, they like the sunflowers over here. She gets 10 out of 10. This guy, I don't know where he's from, he doesn't get such a good score. He gave him 2 out of 10 here. Bad lighting, we'll wait, fix it. We'll rescore you later on. So it's kind of funny to watch these people compete for good scores. And as just a quick aside, all these people you see now with books behind them, does anyone think they actually read those books? I don't think so, right? If people read all the books that are behind them on these TV shows, the publishing industry would be in great shape. But the problem for us, the reason it's relevant to us, is that employees are uncomfortable speaking in front of, what their room looks like. 44% of them say they'd rather not. They don't want their customer or their would-be customer to be able to see the dirty dishes behind them if they're working from the kitchen table. They don't want the guy in the next cubicle to see the bedroom behind them if they've set up a little makeshift office in their bedroom. Okay, so I don't blame them. Teams enables you to change your background just as Zoom does. And I'm going to let Wes walk you through that because a lot of people care. Wes?
Okay, so let's share out my screen again here.
Stop this one. Here we go. I got to stop my share.
Let me know when you guys are seeing my screen.
I see it.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to, I actually need to go into Zoom here for just a second. I got to turn my video off. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to stop my video. I have to turn my video on inside of Teams in order to show you the way it works inside of Teams. I appreciate your patience here.
Right, because your video was running in Zoom.
Yeah, my video was running in Zoom, so Teams won't let me grab my video. So I'm going to join a Teams meeting. Give it just a second here. Grab one that I know that I have control of. So the first thing you'll notice is I have what's called the new Teams meeting experience. It will be available to all users by the end of August. If you don't have it yet, it's coming your way soon, and you'll notice that the meeting now pops out in a separate window. Really, the only difference between the new and the old that you're going to see is that the toolbar has been moved up here to the top right. We have the ability, if we click on the ellipsis, if there's more than 9 people in a meeting, we can move to a larger gallery that supports up to 49 people at the same time. So they're doing that to get more feature parity with Zoom. But from our little ellipsis inside the meeting, whether it's in the new experience or the ellipsis on the floating toolbar, we can choose to apply background effects. We have the age-old blur, right? I'm just going to blur it all out. It's going to be gone. I can choose to go to the beach and click apply. And in the new experience, I have this option to add new, so I can add a custom one. I can go out, I can pick a picture, load it in, and then it'll appear down here at the bottom. And I can have that be my background. So pretty simple, easy to do. I'll let you get rid of the dirty clothes in the background. In my case, I'm coming to you live from my music studio, which is also my home office. So that's how that ends up working inside of Teams and changing. So again, click on the 3 little ellipses. We're going to go to background effects. And then we can choose which one we're going to use and click on apply. Simple to do. Back to
Terrific. Thanks, Wes. So we were planning this presentation today. We called a meeting of our Teams team, the people at IT Solutions who take care of this for us, who care about this stuff, who work on this with us all the time. And this was the gathering we put together in advance of the meeting. Mike Lidke took the screenshot. He's down here in the corner. You see Wes and me, Dina, Jason, and Lisa. And we got together this particular picture with 6 of us in the same room. This was taken in about a 3-minute window halfway through the meeting that everyone was together. Lisa joined us late. Dina left us early. We don't need everybody for the whole meeting. As I said before, it's kind of surgical. But let's talk about one of the things that's pretty cool. You're able to, in the chat bar, I'm going to highlight a couple of things that I think really make a difference here. You know that thing that happens when you have a meeting in the conference room and you send out a spreadsheet, you send out a presentation, you send out a document that you want everyone to read in advance, and the same 4 people never read it, and you lose time in the meeting, and you're explaining to them what was in there, et cetera, et cetera. That's not a problem in Teams, okay? The meeting itself has those documents into it. Anyone can open it on their desktop. It's just a click. They can do it ahead of time. They can do it quickly and catch up to you without a lot of problems, without a lot of waiting around. The handoffs between Wes and I for the meeting today, they go more seamlessly in Teams. I'm not taking a shot at Zoom. We're proud to be talking to you today, and we're grateful that Zoom is working. Those handoffs are a lot more seamless in a Zoom meeting. I mean, in a Teams meeting. Mobility is the key to this entire thing. Any person with authorization working from any device, from any place at any time. Okay, it's as though you're all in the same room, and it's powerful as it gets. But as good as Teams is, there are some things you need to be careful about. You may need some getting used to. You don't want to be talking in front of a hot mic, as I did at a presentation last week. You need to be aware of when people are in the room with you. You don't want to be making a presentation on next year's budget and your significant other walks behind you on the way to the kitchen to get another beer. It kind of changes the meeting's tone a little bit. You don't want to be that guy who doesn't realize that the whole pants thing was more important than it seemed to be an hour earlier, like this guy did on Good Morning America, sitting there in his shorts. You don't want to be like this woman. This is actually a Zoom meeting. She got mesmerized. She was on speaker view rather than gallery view, and she didn't want to miss a moment, and she took the meeting. She took the meeting right with her into the can, and had to live it down after the fact. If you're married to someone who works in the props department of a local theater guild, they may decide to Zoom bomb you or Teams bomb you from behind and show up like this woman, this very tolerant woman who has this guy who shows up as Waldo, Batman, and I don't know, Wyatt Earp or something. You need to be aware of all of these things. But now you've set up your channels, you've chosen a background you like. It's time to actually do the Teams meeting itself, okay? Starting with how to schedule it, how to invite people to it, and then how to join it yourself and manage it going forward. So I'm gonna release my screen. I'm gonna let Wes walk us through an extended demo of actually a Teams meeting from soup to nuts.
Perfect. So I'm gonna share my screen out here.
We see it.
Perfect. Everyone can see my screen again. Very good. So we're going to go over a couple of different ways to start a meeting. The first one I'm going to show you is what we call an ad hoc meeting. So this is an on-the-fly meeting that you need to pull together. It's not on a calendar. You know, you didn't send out an invite. I'm in the channel. We're having a discussion. It's going back and forth. And, you know, it gets to the point where, you know, seeing each other face-to-face might make more sense. So in lots of places inside of Teams, up in the right-hand corner, you'll see this little video icon. And anywhere you see the video icon, you have the ability to start a meeting right from there. So if I click on this icon and I choose Meet Now, it's going to dump us right into a meeting that's in that channel. I then have the ability to pull people into that meeting, and anyone who's in the channel can join the meeting with me. So that's down and dirty, quick and easy way to jump into an unscheduled ad hoc on the fly meeting. There was a question earlier about, can you change the background from the old version of the Teams meeting? So this is the old version. I'm going to click here. Because I don't have a camera, right? My camera's on Zoom and I'm on a remote desktop server. It doesn't appear here, but in this list, there would be the same options to change your background in the traditional Teams as there is in that I showed you in the new Teams. So just know that that's there. So I'm going to end this meeting. So now we're going to talk about regularly scheduled meetings on a calendar. So I'm going to go over to my calendar icon in my toolbar on the left side of Teams. And there's a couple of ways that I can schedule the meeting now. Up here on the right, I can have a new meeting. I can give it a title. I'm going to call this a test meeting. I'm going to invite some attendees. I think I've got Adele and Joni, Miriam, so I pick and choose people. Now, this is where you can also include someone from outside your organization. So if you choose to do someone from outside your organization, they're not gonna, it doesn't do like your Outlook does and go and pull their name. If it's a Teams meeting, you actually have to completely type out and fill in their address. So you give it a minute and you'll see that it says invite that email address, and you click there and you've now invited someone outside your organization. Please be aware that you may not have permissions to do this, so if you have an issue with including a person who's outside your organization, you may need to contact your Teams administrator or your Office 365 administrator to get those permissions changed for you. The rest is pretty much like a typical Outlook calendar invite that you're used to seeing. You have, start and end times. The Outlook scheduling assistant works inside of the Teams calendar event as well. So it does a free busy search. It tells me when these people are available. If I wanted to change the time of the meeting, we can simply click here. I have the same kind of repeat options. If this was a daily, weekly, monthly meeting, I could add a location and I could add further details. When I'm done, I simply hit send. Now you see the test meeting is down here on the calendar. Now, new as of the month of July, you might have seen it at the end of June. If you are inside of Outlook, and I'm actually using the web version of Outlook. I don't know how many people have played around with the web version, but it's pretty fantastic. You'll notice it looks suspiciously like regular Outlook these days. They've done a very good job of keeping that application up to date and moving forward with new development. But from inside of Outlook, I can go into my calendar. I can double click on a time slot. I have a test meeting, right? And this is going to work the exact same way, right? I can add my people. I got my free busy here. I can pick a time. So the one thing inside of Outlook that if you want it to be a Teams meeting that you need to do is you do this little slider. You move the slider over and now it's going to be a Teams meeting, which means it will include the link to join the meeting so that someone can jump in just like you do on a Zoom meeting. Now, if you have the traditional Outlook client, there will be a button that says make this a Teams meeting. When I'm done, I'm just going to send it, and it works the same way as before. So now that test meeting is on our calendar. So that's how we go about scheduling a meeting.
Great. So we've got one scheduled.
Yep.
It's time to join.
Yep.
How do you join?
So Microsoft has added a join button just about everywhere that they could think of adding a join button. So if I click on a meeting inside of my Outlook, there will be a join button here. If I had a notification inside of Outlook, there's a join button on the notification that pops up. The same with the traditional Outlook one that pops up with the dialog box. There will be a join button there. If I get, if I have a Teams notification and I have Teams I'm logged into, I'll get a Windows notification down here in the bottom right. There will be a join button there. If I'm in Teams, I'll get a button up here at the top right that says, hey, I noticed you've got a meeting. Would you like to join the meeting? You can click the join button there. Or you can go right into your calendar, open the meeting event, and click on join, and jump right into the meeting. So they've tried to make it super easy to join the meeting and giving you options from all over. If you're on a mobile device and you're not logged into your desktop and you have a meeting, you'll get an alert that says the meeting's starting, and it will ask you if you'd like to join your meeting from this mobile device. And you can just say yes, and it'll dump you right into the meeting from your phone.
Oh, that's also cool. All right, good. So we've got the meeting started. We've got people joining. We want to make sure that they're not cross-talking us and we're not dealing with the, if you think of the early days of these distance meetings and people say, all right, everyone mute their phones, everyone mute. We want to make sure that we're managing this entire group effectively and efficiently. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in your toolbar, there's the icon that looks like a couple of heads here. So this is for show participants. And it's going to give you a list down the right-hand side of everyone who is in the meeting, everyone who's been invited to the meeting, and it will give you their current status. Because all of my fake coworkers here are not at their fake desks and are not logged into their teams, I can't directly invite them. But if they were real people, you could simply click on them and ask them to join. Also from the ellipsis, you have the ability to make someone an attendee. You can mute them and you can remove them from the meeting. So if I wanted to invite someone who was not in the list up here, like say, I can come up here and start, I know I've got some more people. If I wanted to add Alex, I can start typing his name, and from the invite tab up here, I have the ability to pull someone in.
Quick question for you, Wes.
Okay, yep.
We mentioned Zoom bombing earlier, and question came
Yeah.
in from one of the attendees. Is Teams less vulnerable to Zoom bombing? Did the security settings make it, easier to keep people from showing up, commandeering a meeting, and leaving everything else in ruins?
Yeah, so there are meeting level settings and tenant level settings in the admin center that your Office 365 administrator can set that determine the defaults of a meeting and what happens with outside users. So those settings allow you to restrict who can share their screen and how they enter the meeting. So they can be configured to automatically enter as an attendee, and then only the organizer or people within your organization would be able to present their screen and talk and chat.
Another question just came in and said, when scheduling in Outlook, how do you designate the channel in Teams?
Okay, so let me pop back
Necessarily.
up. So if you're inside Outlook and let me just open this guy again. So from Outlook, I don't have the ability to pick a channel and have a meeting inside the channel. So if I want to specifically restrict it to a channel, I have to do that for my Teams client. If I go to my calendar, you'll notice it put my meeting on hold. From here, actually, I'm just going to make a new one. I don't want to mess with my one that's already going. You have the ability to add a channel right here. If you wanted to put it in a specific channel, you can then pick and choose.
Great.
If you had locations like you were scheduling conference rooms, or you had other things set up inside of your Office 365 that had the ability to be scheduled, you can do the same thing here. Right? I can pick the Adams conference room from Building 1, so that, and I can also, if I had remote people, people from the design channel. So this would be what I would do if I had some people who were in the office and some people were outside of the office, and I needed to, schedule a conference room or some other, like if I had a projector or some other equipment that I were using that I scheduled through Office 365 in my Outlook calendar already, you can integrate that there. The channel piece is supposed to be coming to Outlook. It's on the roadmap, but we don't have an ETA yet.
Okay. Let me ask you another question. We're recording the Zoom meeting today. Can we record the Teams meeting?
Absolutely. So from inside a Teams meeting, once it's started, if I click on my little 3 ellipses here, I have the ability to start recording. Once I do that, it's going to pop up, you'll see at the top a notification that says the meeting's being recorded. It pops that up on everyone who is in the meeting at the time I turn recording on, and anyone who joins the meeting afterwards. You'll also notice on the toolbar now, I'm over here at the left, it tells me that Megan has started recording the meeting. When I'm done recording the meeting, I can just go back to my ellipsis and I can click on the stop recording. And now that's done.
Does it do anything cool when you record it? Like maybe transcribe it or anything?
Yeah, it does. So anytime that you have a meeting inside of Teams that you record, it ends up in a video service called Microsoft Stream. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to click on my little waffle and choose the stream service. I'm going to go to my content and my videos. I'm going to open one that's was done in our demo content here, so you can see what's going on. So this was an all hands meeting that was recorded previously.
To address all.
I'm going to stop playing over here, and you'll see that it's automatically created a transcript here that is speech to text for the full, everything that was said in this meeting. So even cooler, if I know that there's a term that I used in that meeting and I wanted to search for it, I can search for like the word Northwest. It'll search through the transcript for that word, and it was said at 3:42. If I click here,
Northwest, adventure word.
It actually jumps to that point in the presentation where it was recorded.
And that's searchable.
That is searchable, yeah. So super cool, little thing that happens when you record a Teams meeting. that gives you some more functionality. The one thing to be aware with Stream is it is only shareable with people inside your organization. If you want to share the video out to the rest of the world today, you have to download the video and upload it to YouTube or Vimeo or some other public video service. It is on the roadmap to allow you to share externally. It's just not done yet.
Great.
And
Hey,
is Stream something that you're going to go ahead and get with that Microsoft 365 subscription, or is that an add-on?
That is included with your Microsoft 365 subscription.
Everything we've seen so far is already
Everything
included.
you've seen so far is included with your 365 subscription.
So if you access your email through 365, you have all this stuff. Okay, which-
Most likely, there are some lower end, whether the front end worker licensing that might not have the rest of the package, but most business packages today, if you have access to Teams, you have access to Stream and all of the other Office apps on the web.
Great. I want to ask you another question, if I could.
Yep.
Taking notes inside of a Teams meeting. We have a couple of questions came in that we're going to get to towards the end of the presentation. But in the meantime, since we're in the middle of the meeting, take some. How do you take notes?
So from the back to our toolbar, if I go to my ellipsis here and I do show meeting notes, over on the right-hand side, it will pop up a notes area. And from here, I have the ability to take notes. This panel is shared with everyone. So everyone in the meeting will see it, and everyone in the meeting will have the ability to enter their own notes. So. And then I'm gonna, maybe I've got a bulleted list. Maybe my next person is talking. So I'm gonna add another note. All right. So I can keep adding notes and everyone can add notes, and this is all, it is an interactive area shared with everyone in the meeting.
And it stays with the meeting. So after the meeting's over, you can access this.
Right. So this is what's an important thing in Teams that a lot of people don't realize is that because all of the back end of the Microsoft product suite is a database, it gets stored in the database. So I can go back to this meeting object. I'm actually going to end the meeting real quick. So I'm jumped out of it. So this meeting isn't going now. I double click on the meeting object and I go to this meeting notes tab. You'll notice that all those notes that I just created are stored with this meeting object. So it could be August, of 2021, and I could go back to this meeting, open the object back up, go back to the notes tab, and everything is there. Just as important, I can go to the chat tab, right? And I could see the recording that we'd done earlier, right? Along with any chat questions that might have been in that meeting. So all wrapped in together and stored in that calendar object in your calendar inside of Outlook. And
So we're in 2021, and I'm trying to remember something that we discussed in this meeting, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but there's a phrase or two that sticks in my mind. I can search for that phrase and it will find this meeting for me.
Yes, so I could go back to either, I could rewatch it here, right, with the video player, and it's gonna, give it a second and it's gonna go play back a meeting with nothing, right? Or I could go to the stream service and search through the transcription and find it there. So today, the meeting transcriptions are not included in the universal search in Office 365, but it is on the roadmap and will be coming.
Question came in from the audience, Wes.
Yeah.
How is G Suite integration? Is there any integration with G Suite?
So the only integration there is in the Files tab over here on the left. By default, it only chooses OneDrive. But we can integrate Google Drive if we want to integrate the storage mechanisms from Google into Teams. But they don't have any other, let's call it extensibility into the G Suite.
Okay. And another question came in about CRM. Does this integrate with CRM product?
Yeah, so there's a boatload of Teams integrations. So from our menu over here on the left, I'm going to click on the apps icon, right? And this brings up, the most commonly used. If I choose down here, I'm going to pick all apps. Where's my all apps? Let me just, these are some popular ones. So there's over, I believe we're over 1,000 different things that it integrates with today. Like if you use Asana, if you use Trello, Power BI, WebEx, Box, GoToMeeting, Zoom, Mail Clerk, you name it, just about, it's in here. Karma, Attendance Bot, Bitbucket, you name it, it's likely to be here. Salesforce is in there. If there's any major ones you're specifically asking about, you can just plug them right here into the search box, put in what you're looking for, and it'll go out and find anything related to Salesforce, right?
That's great. Thank you, Wes. So I think we're going to wrap up here. Wes, did you have anything else that you thought was really cool that you wanted to lay on us?
So probably the one thing that we haven't talked about much is file sharing inside of a meeting. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to join this meeting again and get it started. So we're inside this meeting. I'm going to show the chat here over on the right. So we're talking, we're speaking, we're chatting, and we decide we need to look at a document that we all want to edit and review at the same time. So from the chat window, I can click on my little paperclip. I could choose OneDrive or my computer. I'm going to choose OneDrive because we've got some stuff out here. Was clicked. Clicked too fast. And we want to look at this marketing strategy document that we had created. So I can choose that and send it to the chat, and it's now in the chat. And I can click on this document. It'll open up right in Word, and we can all work on it together at the same time.
So so it's going to show up in the chat for all of us. If I open it on mine, I start changing some of the word in the first paragraph, and you're working in the second paragraph, we each see the others work as we're working.
Correct. As we log in, it will more heads will appear up here at the top. It will give each of us our own color, and we can all type away and make changes and modifications to the document at the same time. And
Same goes with the spreadsheet. Same goes with the PowerPoint.
Any of the Microsoft documents, so spreadsheets, Word documents, and PowerPoint documents are fully collaborative editing from inside of Teams. So this is where it gets even cooler now, right? So now I close out, I end my meeting, I'm back on my calendar stuff, right? It's a year later and I need to go back and, I wanted to see the agenda or see the document that we had edited. Just like my meeting notes are kept with my document, any files that I have shared are also going to be here, and they're going to be on this Files tab.
That's cool.
So again, all of that information gets wrapped into your meeting and kept in perpetuity moving forward, as long as your retention policies are set up inside of Office 365.
Very cool. Thank you. Are there other questions that we missed?
I know I covered a lot.
I think we got it. I think we've knocked out all the questions. Thanks, Wes. So I just wanted to thank the Palm Beach North Chamber for having us in today. We're committed to this. This is like our mission, to move people safely, securely, and productively into this Microsoft collaboration world. For your putting up with us today, I'm going to make a couple of offers for you. Teams, as you noticed, is a pretty robust and pretty powerful engine. We've touched on maybe 15% or 20% of what it can do, maybe. If you'd like a deeper dive within your organization in terms of how it might be customized for you, we're happy to do that without charge, without obligation. Please just let us know that. And the other thing, Microsoft is as much of a home run as they've hit with this particular platform. They have a history that they're honoring for the last decades of setting up default settings that aren't really optimal. Okay, they make you a little less efficient. They make you a little less secure. And I don't know why they do it, but they do it. So we can help you avoid death by default with a free analysis of your own Microsoft 365 environment and finding those things those settings that could make you a little safer, a little more efficient in your organization. Both of the offers for you guys today. No hard sell. We're not a sales organization. We're a technology organization. If you're interested in any of that, you can reach out. My contact information is on the screen there. I'm going to leave it there until you go bye-bye, so that you can write down my cell phone number, my direct email address, and reach out and tell us how good we were, but also tell us that you'd like us to come in and talk about Teams in a little more specific, customized detail. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Brittany. Thanks very much for your time today.
Wow, thank you both for your time. I'll tell you, the Chamber actually started using Teams probably back in February or March.
Good for you.
Yes, and thank heavens we had this, because we were talking internally on Teams about, oh my gosh, I didn't know it had this feature and that feature. And I know, Mike, you and I had talked back in April when you had done a virtual business seminar with us about the capabilities of Teams and how there's just so much more to it. So I appreciate your insight and your expertise, both Mike and Wes. So thank you so much for doing this for us today. Just so that everyone knows, this actually has been recorded and is on our Facebook, so it will live there as well as on our YouTube. So if you want to reference something, I know I'm probably going to be looking at this a couple more times just to fully understand the program. Thank you again for your support. I wanted to give everyone kind of an overview of our upcoming events that we have. Tomorrow night at 4 o'clock is our Tech Toast, which is our bi-weekly conversation. Members and non-members alike can come and join us, and we'll be talking about leadership this week. Next Wednesday is our Young Professionals Monthly Mingle. It will actually be a fun, interactive event, which will be focused on trivia. I believe it's 90s and 80s music, or 90s themed. And on August 17th, a Monday, is our Young Professionals Virtual Luncheon, Wellbeing During COVID-19. So you can find all the information about our events on our website, pdnchamber.com. And with that, I just want to thank you both again, IT Solutions of South Florida. We really appreciate your support and this insight on tools that we can utilize to make us work smarter. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.